during Memorial Day weekend, while traffic filled the streets and most people were focused on getting through their day. Something unusual stopped time for everyone who passed by. In the middle of the road, under the harsh midday sun, an injured Marine stood perfectly still with his arm raised in a salute. Sergeant Tim Chambers didn't pace, didn't shift his weight, didn't look for attention. He simply stood there, unmoving, as if nothing else in the world mattered. At first, people assumed it was symbolic, maybe a short gesture for the cameras or a quick tribute. But minutes passed, then more minutes, and Tim didn't lower his arm. 15 minutes turned into 30. An hour slipped by, and still, he remained locked in place, his salute steady, his eyes fixed straight ahead. Tim's uniform told its own quiet story. Medals rested on his chest, patches stitched with history and sacrifice. His posture carried discipline, but his stillness carried something deeper. What no one around him realized at first was that this wasn't a performance. It wasn't planned. It was personal. This exact day marked the anniversary of the moment his life split in two, before and after. Years earlier, on Memorial Day, Tim had lost his twin brother, Mark, in combat. Not just lost him, but watched him give everything so that Tim could live. They had been inseparable since childhood. Same face, same laugh, same stubborn streak. They shared interests, shared dreams, and eventually shared the same uniform. Joining the Marines wasn't just a career choice for them. It was a pact. Wherever one went, the other followed. During training, deployments, and missions, they stayed close, trusting each other more than anyone else in the world. They talked about growing old after their service, about families, about life beyond the battlefield. None of those plans survived what happened overseas. The ambush came fast and without warning. Gunfire echoed through the air as enemies hidden for weeks revealed themselves. Snipers took positions on rooftops and hills, opening fire the moment the signal was given. 2 Marines were killed instantly. Chaos erupted. Orders were shouted, shots returned, and adrenaline took over. In the middle of it all, a bullet struck Tim in the leg. He went down hard, pain exploding through his body as he tried to crawl away from the open ground. Every movement felt impossible. That's when Mark saw him. Without hesitation, without thinking about himself, Mark ran straight into danger. Bullets tore through the air as he reached his brother, grabbing him and dragging him toward cover. He positioned his own body between Tim and the sniper fire, acting as a shield. It was a split-second decision, the kind made only out of instinct and love. One shot ended everything. Mark collapsed onto Tim, his weight pressing down, his life gone in an instant. Tim screamed his name, begging him to move, begging him to wake up, until other Marines pulled Mark's body away and carried Tim to safety. That moment never left him. As Tim stood saluting years later, his injured leg burning beneath him, the memory replayed with brutal clarity. The physical pain was nothing compared to the weight he carried inside. Survivor's guilt followed him home, lingered through sleepless nights, and whispered questions he couldn't escape. Why him? Why not me? It took years before he stopped blaming himself and accepted the truth. Mark chose to save him. Mark chose to be a hero. As the sun climbed higher, the heat became unbearable. Sweat soaked through Tim's uniform, stung his eyes, and dried his throat. His arm felt like fire, muscles trembling under the strain. Yet it never dropped. People passing by slowed down, then stopped completely. Some held small flags. Others stood with hands over their hearts. Word spread quickly about the Marine, who refused to lower his salute. A quiet crowd formed, drawn not by spectacle, but by respect. 2 hours passed. Tim remained unmoving. His injured leg screamed in protest, every second sending sharp reminders of damage that never fully healed. But he didn't flinch. Compared to what his fellow Marines had sacrificed, his discomfort meant nothing. His salute wasn't just for Mark. It was for everyone whose name would never age, whose stories ended too soon. Then the sound came. Low at first, distant, like thunder rolling over the horizon. Engines. The noise grew louder, cutting through the stillness, drawing every eye toward the road. A long line of bikers appeared, riding in tight formation. Leather vests covered in patches, faces weathered by time and miles. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. People exchanged uneasy glances. Many assumed trouble was coming. Bikers carried a reputation, and not a gentle one. The engines shut off. Silence returned. One by one, the bikers dismounted and approached him, their movements calm and deliberate. Without speaking, they formed a circle around him. Then, in unison, they raised their arms in salute. The effect was electric. No shouting, no noise, just stillness and respect. In that moment, assumptions crumbled. These men weren't there to disrupt anything. Many of them were veterans themselves. They understood exactly what that salute represented. When one biker stepped forward, the tension spiked again. People whispered nervously, expecting something dangerous. Instead, he pulled out a bottle of water. Slowly, carefully, he lifted it so Tim could drink without lowering his arm. Shame washed over those who had judged him. Another biker followed, holding a small battery-powered fan, offering relief from the crushing heat. Then another raised an umbrella, shielding Tim from the sun. Each gesture was quiet, simple, and deeply human. As time passed, the crowd watched something rare unfold. A bridge forming between two worlds often misunderstood. There were no speeches, no cameras pushing forward, no need for explanation. Respect spoke louder than words ever could. When the sun finally dipped low, Tim lowered his arm. His body was exhausted, but his heart felt lighter than it had in years. He had honored his brother. He had honored them all. The bikers lowered their salutes too, offering nods and handshakes that carried more meaning than words. Before leaving, Tim spoke briefly, reminding everyone that appearances lie, and character reveals itself through action. As engines roared back to life, and the bikers rode off, those who witnessed the moment carried something with them, not just a memory, but a lesson. Understanding comes before judgment. Respect often arrives in unexpected forms, and sometimes, the quietest moments leave the deepest mark.